Hello, my name is Peter Thomas of Control Specialists and I am the chairman of the PROFIBUS and PROFINET International Training Centres Working Group. I'm very pleased to announce that in conjunction with the PROFIBUS and PROFINET Association of the United Kingdom, PRUK, we will be offering the full range of certified PROFIBUS and PROFINET training courses in an online format for technicians, engineers and designers. As this is a new venture, I'd like to take a few minutes of your time to explain how this is going to work. So let's have a look at the course format, starting off with the certified installer courses. There are two of them, certified PROFIBUS installer and certified PROFINET installer, targeted at anyone involved in the design, installation or support of PROFIBUS or PROFINET networks. As you can see, there are two aspects to it, theory and practical, and each one of these is associated with some course content and an exam. The exam is where you will attend an online exam day, and I'll be mentioning more of that later on. In terms of the course content, then from a theory and practical point of view, this is entirely self-paced, where you're given timed access to some pre-recorded material. Moving on to the commissioning and maintenance courses, again of which there are two, the PROFIBUS commissioning and maintenance course and the PROFINET commissioning and maintenance course. This is a non-certified course, so there is no examination, and it's basically aimed at technicians and engineers wanting a basic introduction to the auditing and fault finding on live PROFIBUS or PROFINET networks. Again, there is a theory and a practical aspect. The theory entirely self-paced, where you are given timed access to the pre-recorded material. The practical is a combination of self-paced access and also instructor-led access, where you will be given live access to a PROFIBUS or PROFINET network for you to practice your skills. In terms of the certified engineer courses, again there are two, certified PROFIBUS engineer or certified PROFINET engineer, and these are targeted at engineers wanting a more in-depth knowledge of the PROFIBUS or PROFINET protocols and more advanced fault finding techniques. Again, there is a theory and a practical aspect, with each one of those consisting of course content and an exam, which I'll be mentioning later on. The theory aspect of the courses are entirely self-paced, where you have timed access to pre-recorded material. The practical, a combination of self-paced learning and instructor-led learning, where you are given access to our live PROFIBUS or PROFINET networks. And then finally, the certified PROFIBUS system designer. There is no equivalent for PROFINET, and this is aimed at designers of PROFIBUS networks. There is only theory in this particular course, no practical aspect to it. The course entirely timed access, self-paced, followed by an exam. It's worth noting that all courses include direct access to the instructor via email and or dedicated Teams meeting, where we can go over any administrative or technical issues that you've had with the course and go over things that you basically haven't clearly understood. So let's have a look at the basic setup. At the top center, we have the student PC remote from the instructor. This may be one of several PCs if you are undertaking this training course with colleagues at a central location. Each PC needs to have a microphone and a webcam enabled at all times, and it needs to have the ability of running Microsoft Teams, TeamViewer and a web browser. Both Microsoft Teams and TeamViewer have a dedicated application that needs to be installed. It's a free of charge application, but if that's a problem for you, we can use these via a conventional web browser. Microsoft Teams is used to interact with the instructor during the instructor-led aspect of the course, and TeamViewer is used to give you access to one of several PCs that are physically connected to a live PROFIBUS or PROFINET network. You may be working on that network on your own, you may be doing so with others at the same time. The web browser is used to access the theory content and also the theory exam. The theory content, we use the Thinkific hosting service, and for the exam we use ClassMarker. The exam you will do on the exam day. So let's move on to the course flow for the certified installer courses. Both consist of 3 stages: registration, course access and exam access. During the registration stage, we sort out the commercial aspects and we obtain photo ID from each student. This needs to be a photo ID with both name and address, as well as the photograph shown clearly on it, as it's going to be used for cross-checking purposes during the exam. It's during the registration phase that we also send out a practical kit consisting of cable, connectors, cable tester, etc. And you will use that during the course and exam stages. On completion of the registration stage, we then move on to course access. It is here that you will be given time-limited access to the self-paced material, a combination of reading material and videos, and this will be sent to you via a link. And it is also where you will watch videos to allow you to practice the practical part of the course. On completion of the training material, you will then be asked to attend an online exam day. During the online exam day, we will cross-check your photo ID against that given during registration. You will be given access to the theory exam, where you will be given 1 hour to take that exam and 1 attempt at doing so. And you will also be asked to undertake a practical exam where you will be basically making and testing a cable. And it is here that you'll be interacting with the instructor via Microsoft Teams. In terms of the commissioning and maintenance courses, there are only 2 stages, registration and course access, because there is no exam associated with it. As before, during registration, we sort out the commercial aspects and also obtain a photo ID. On completion of that stage, we then move on to the course access. And here we have a combination of access to the self-paced content for both theory and practical. And then we will be inviting you to join us on a live session where we will be using a combination of Microsoft Teams and TeamViewer to give you live access to our PROFIBUS or PROFINET network. Now onto the certified engineer courses, we're back to the 3 stages: registration, course access, exam access. During the registration, we sort out the commercial aspects, we obtain the photo ID. There is no equipment sent out to you during the certified engineer courses. On completion of registration, we move on to the course access. And here we have access to the self-paced material via the Thinkific environment using your web browser, and then pre-arranged access to our live PROFIBUS or PROFINET network using Microsoft Teams and TeamViewer. On completion of the course content, you will then be asked to attend an online exam day. And during that exam day, we will cross-check your photo ID. You will be given time-limited access to the theory exam using ClassMarker, where you will have 2 hours to complete the exam and 1 attempt at doing so. And you will be using Microsoft Teams and TeamViewer to undertake the practical on the live network. And finally, the Certified PROFIBUS Designer course flow. Again, the same 3 stages: registration, course access, exam access. Registration as before, sorting out the commercial aspect and checking the photo ID. The course access only has access to the self-paced material. There is no practical aspect to the designer course. So you have time-limited access to the course material, and on completion of that, you will then be asked to attend a pre-arranged exam day. And during the exam day, as before, we cross-check the photo ID, and then we basically give you timed access to the theory exam, where you have 2 hours to complete the exam and 1 attempt at doing so. If we now take a look at the exam day, then what you have here on the left are 2 of several student PCs. One of these may be your PC at your own home-based office or at an office at work, but that student PC must have a microphone and a webcam enabled at all times. Your PC will require internet access. In terms of the theory examination, then in all cases it will be a web browser access to ClassMarker. If you are doing the certified installer course, then you need to make sure that there is a table organized where you can demonstrate your ability to make and test a cable. if you are doing the certified engineer courses, then you are going to need to interact with the instructor, because you're going to have online access to the Profibus or PROFINET network to undertake your exam, and you will be basically given 1.5 hours to do that exam. So if you're interested in gaining PI certified accreditation as a certified Profibus installer, engineer or designer, or as a certified PROFINET installer or PROFINET engineer, and would like more information, please contact PI UK or ourselves via the contact details shown on this page. It really is an ideal opportunity for you to learn at your own pace and yet have access to an online Profibus or PROFINET network. This training is fully supported by PI UK, and it will be them that will be issuing all of the certificates. If you'd like to know a little more about myself and my experience, please contact me via the LinkedIn address also shown on this page. Thanks very much for your time. I hope to meet you soon.